Welcome back to the Sibling Group Chat. I'm Owen.
And I'm Cassidy.
Today we are back at it with the Odyssey review, episode 58, The Greatest of These.
This is the 64th episode of Adventures in Odyssey, and it originally aired on March 4th, 1989. It's part of Album 4, Fundamentals, and in this episode, the trouble starts when Robyn is paired with a slow learner named Oscar for the middle school science fair. The trouble peaks when their model volcano malfunctions, and our theme is unconditional love.
Yeah, it really didn't malfunction. It just did what a normal volcano would do.
Well, yeah, it did exactly what it should have done with what happened. But,
No, I just the way it was worded, I thought it was funny.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no intro to this one. It's just Chris is like, "Ooh, this is exciting. There's a spelling bee. Go."
Yep. She does a spelling bee in Mr. Southworth's 5th grade class. And, what happened to Mr. Southworth?
Okay, what did you hear the teacher's name as? Mr. South something?
Southworth.
Moore? You had Worth?
Yeah.
Okay, I guessed Moore. I couldn't really tell what she said.
Well, it's the same teacher name as when Robyn shared her testimony in class, but it's not the same teacher voice.
Huh.
Which I thought was odd.
And it's 5th grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But anyway, we start with Robyn spelling Republic correctly, which ties the score at 14 between Robyn's Raiders and Pamela's Pirates. And can I just say, the incentive to win this spelling bee makes absolutely no sense.
No, because what does it mean to do somebody else's homework?
Exactly. That doesn't work.
No.
The incentive should be the winning team doesn't have to do their homework.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. It shouldn't be the other person has to do their... Because that's literally just doing your own homework and then copying your answers to a second piece of paper,
I know.
essentially.
That's why I was like, how do you do somebody else's homework? Does the other person just get the grade you got? And how are we pairing people off? Like, what if you get paired with the dumb person?
Right. I was like, just no. It doesn't work. And for some reason, I don't know if I've ever thought about it before, or maybe I have, and it just didn't occur to me. Maybe it's because I'm now majoring in education, and so I was thinking this is a stupid educational idea.
Yeah, no, I was like, this doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Well, he finally tells them, since they're so close to a tie, that if it ends in a tie, there'll be no homework. Which makes sense.
Also makes sense. Which would honestly fit along the lines of the winning team not having to do any homework and the other team just having to do their own.
Yeah,
like,
because
again, that would make sense. Anyway, Pamela spells chronicle correctly, and so they're up by 1. And apparently, there's only one word left because, or either that or they only have time for one more word anyway, because then the only options left are Robyn's team is either going to tie or lose. But anyway, Robyn's team huddles up because apparently you need a strategy session real quick, and they find out it's Oscar's turn. Not ideal for Robyn's team, or at least nobody seems to think so.
Yeah.
And I forget, in the other episode with Oscar, was there any indication that he struggled in school, or just that he, asks a lot of questions?
I think it's just that he asked
Or could you,
one would say dumb questions.
Yeah, so you could maybe, infer it after listening to this episode that it was somewhat...
When you know this episode, you can infer learning struggles in the other one. But if you've never heard this one, you wouldn't really.
Right. Anyway, Robyn's team asks if they can substitute, but the teacher says that wouldn't be fair. They have to go in order, so it's Oscar's turn
I think Pamela
to
does
spell.
that, and the teacher agrees with her.
Well, I think the teacher was going to say that anyway, but Pamela was just making sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Oscar's word is laugh, and she unfortunately misspells L-A-P-H.
Yeah, and Pamela says laugh is too easy, which I don't know if it's that much easier than the other words, but do you think the teacher was
It's really kind of an oddly spelled word when you think about it.
It is, so we're kind of setting up Oscar for disaster.
Yeah, because, the way he spelled it would make some sense.
Yeah, at least he
if
didn't
you would have
say
said, L-A-F-F or L-A-F, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, they're 5th graders, so they should probably know how to spell laugh, but it's not like it's the world's easiest word. It's not spelled phonetically.
No. He gave it a good try.
Yeah. But anyway, so Robyn's Raiders lose. On their way out, Pamela and Robyn are talking. Pamela says that Oscar was her team's best player. And
It's not funny. Pamela is pretty funny in this episode. I guess it's just this opening scene that she's in, but it's funny.
And then she gives Robyn her homework and says that remember that neatness counts. Which again, I have to say, on the topic of doing someone else's homework, what's to stop Robyn from just doing everything wrong on Pamela's homework and handing that in?
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't...
There are things that do not work.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I do also want to point out, when Pamela's team won the spelling bee, you know, the cheering kid noise? We've discussed before reused kid crowd noises, and I think this is the first time this one gets used, but you hear it a lot more after this.
Okay. Yeah. You for some reason enjoy critiquing background noises. It's not my thing, but I'll let you enjoy that.
Episodes enough that I've started picking up on that background stuff.
I will say, I don't remember what episode I was listening to recently, but I was listening to an episode recently that had a crowd of kids, and I wasn't listening for the Donna in the background, but after the scene, I was like, you know what, I should have been listening to see if I could hear "Congratulations, Donna" in the background.
Another thing worth pointing out here, we never are in a classroom when it's not right at the end of class. Never happens.
It's true.
Well, never happens in early on.
Except for Donna and the Bill of Rights.
You're talking about the Bill of Rights.
Anyway, at Wit's End, because we get to Wit's End with the story before the story gets to Wit's End.
Science fair pairings before.
Yeah. There's one more thing. Yeah, Robyn and Pamela checked the science fair groupings, which were on like the bulletin board outside the classroom or something.
Bulletin board.
And Robyn is paired with Oscar, which is not good. In her opinion, she would prefer a different partner.
Yep.
But anyway, in a time that we don't hear, she tells Oscar to meet her at Wit's End, because when she gets to Wit's End, she's asking if Oscar is there yet. Which, you get the impression she went there right after school, and so I'd assume they would have gone the same direction, so you would think she would know whether or not Oscar was in front of her or behind her.
Yeah, well, it's weird because they're talking like it's the same day, but it feels like a different day.
Well, that's possible, too. But, like, I don't know. If it's a different day, that would make more sense, because it's like she just talks to Oscar to meet her there.
She tells him, Mr. Whitaker, about spelling bee like it just happened.
Well, yeah.
But the feel of it feels like it's
I think it's the same day. Anyway. But yeah, we get to Wit's End before the story gets there.
Before the kids get there.
So,
the story's still there.
Well, they're the main part of the story, so.
Yes, but Bonnie is.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, at Wit's End, Connie is asking Wit what, she has a question for him. She asks what agape means, and Wit's like, it means wide open.
But he doesn't say it in, like, a condescending way, which I appreciate. Like, he's just like...
No, it's not condescending, but you can tell he's got to, like, it's an interesting word to need to know the meaning of, but this is what it means. Yeah. And she's like, well, that's what the dictionary said, too. But why does Paul use that word to describe love? And then Mr. Wicker's like, what? But she says that they were in her Bible study with Pamela, Oscar, and Robyn, which I kind of forgot about. And I also forgot that was mentioned after the one episode.
I think this is the last one. I think this might have been Pamela's episode.
Well, it probably is, but I didn't remember that it got mentioned after the one episode that it started in.
Yep.
But they were reading in 1 Corinthians?
1 Corinthians 13.
1 Corinthians 13. About love, and Robyn had a footnote that said the Greek word was agape.
Well, he doesn't say.
Wit realized
I think they said Greek word. I think they just said Paul is talking about agape.
Oh. Regardless, it's a footnote that says agape. And
so
then Wit realizes it's agape. Is agape actually spelled the exact same way, or does it have any, like,
Well, that's what I was like, I know
whatever you
exactly,
call those?
I'm like, I know how agape is spelled. Is that how agape is spelled?
Well, I was wondering if agape has, like, a weird letter, like,
I don't think
I
so.
don't know what you call it. No? Maybe they are spelled the same. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you were questioning the spelling of agape.
Anyway.
I was questioning the spelling of agape.
But yeah, Whit tells Connie that it's one of the 4 types of love, and she's like, "There's more than one." He's like, "Yes, there's 4. It's a Greek word for one of the 4 types of love." And so she asks him what it means, and Whit's like, no, you can go find it yourself.
I'll tell you exactly what agape means, but I will not tell you what agape means. I love his line, that's why I have a Bible library in my office, my dear.
Yeah, I did think that was kind of funny. But he says something about research being good for you or something, and it's like a quote from somebody.
Yeah. Connie's like, doing research.
And then Connie's like, research is a pain in the neck, Connie Kendall.
Yeah, that one was funny too.
But she goes off to study in, is it his office? That's where,
So.
that's where he.
And it's
sent her?
probably worth mentioning that she mentions that she's struggling with her Bible study because Oscar is struggling.
Yeah, he says Robyn picks up everything pretty quickly. Pamela is really good at remembering and memorizing things, and then Oscar is a problem because he doesn't want to read, he doesn't remember things, and she says that they had recited the Lord's Prayer once, and he inserted something like
about flour and laundry.
Something about flour and yeah, and when she asked him about it, because Whit says it sounds like he was just making a joke, and Connie said she asked him about it, and he said that's how they said it at his church, like completely seriously.
Yeah.
So she was concerned.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, that Whit is like,
Yeah. Well, then, after Connie leaves, Pamela and Robyn come in. Just Robyn?
I don't think Pamela shows up again. Ever.
Oh. Yeah, for some reason I thought... Yeah, I guess I do just have that Robyn comes in.
Yeah, she comes
Robyn comes in and tells Whit
LAPH
about her Oscar
himself.
problems. No, she does not. She comes in complaining about Oscar.
She
does not call him
Mr.
that until... No, he doesn't. Not until the end of her talk when she tells him who her partner is for the science fair.
I was so excited for that funny name that I got ahead of myself.
Yeah, you did. You ruined it.
Sorry.
It's not funny anymore.
That's fine.
I'm not going to LAPH at it anymore.
Okay. I won't LAPH either.
Anyway, telling Whit about her Oscar problems. First, the spelling bee, because they lost because he spelled laugh LAPH. LAPH!
We've said that too many times. It's starting to sound like when you say a word too many times and it sounds weird.
Or it's like when you write down a word and you're not sure if it's spelled correctly, and the longer you look at it, the worse you think it looks misspelled. Anyway, well then, since they lost, she said, and then she had to look to see who her partner was for the spelling bee, and you'll never guess who that was. It was Mr. LAPH himself. Had to say it one more time, you know?
Yeah.
And then,
Whit
says...
Going, "Hi, partner."
Yeah, Oscar's excited. He's just a chill guy.
Well, it's his best chance for a good grade, probably.
Well, probably. Anyway, Robyn is reluctant to listen to Oscar's idea, but he apparently has one for their science fair project. Anyway, his idea is to make a model volcano, which Robyn actually likes the idea of, so they could make one. Is she called a cutaway? Is that what she says?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but basically it's like it's like cut in half so you can see the inside of it.
Yeah.
And Whit suggests the pump part, right?
Oh, that might have been Robyn too. I don't remember.
Well, I think they said something about lava, and maybe Whit suggested a pump. But anyway, somebody suggested it that they could like have a pump so they could put something in it to like simulate the lava erupting and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually, they're having a great idea. So I think someone asks Whit where they should start, and Whit's like, "Well, I'm not part of your project group, but I would recommend research." And so they go to get going, and then Whit tells Robyn if she can go get started. He wants Oscar to help him with something real quick first. So Robyn goes to presumably the library in Whit's End, and then Whit asks Oscar to help him. Something he needs Oscar to read off of the small, like, table-sized menus to him so he can make the big menu behind the counter match the little menu.
Mm-hmm.
And Oscar is not particularly excited to read, but he does his best to try to help Mr. Whitaker. Struggles to read Sunday flavors or toppings. I think it's toppings.
Flavors. Because he says
Flavors?
favors.
Okay. I think he gets Sunday flavors, chocolate and strawberry, and then he stops.
Mm-hmm. You just feel so sad for him. Throughout this whole thing, like, Oscar's just hitting me in the heart.
Yeah. So Whit says, Oscar, you can go, like, I'll get somebody else. Or I think Oscar says maybe you should get somebody else, and Whit says, okay. And then a week later, Robyn comes into Whit's end, and Whit tells her he's proud of all the work that her and Oscar had put in, and Robyn says it would have taken a whole lot less work, but Oscar kept messing little things up here and there. But she doesn't seem overly mad at him. Maybe it's just because she didn't just interact with him.
Maybe, yeah. She does seem in a relatively good mood.
And then Whit says there's something he's been meaning to tell her about Oscar messing things up.
Mm-hmm.
But then Oscar, who's already there, calls Robyn and says to hurry up because the model's almost done and ready. And so Robyn says she'd better get going, and Whit asks if he can come watch their test of it, and she says, yeah, just give him a couple minutes to get it ready. And then Whit says he'll talk to her later. Then, after Robyn leaves, Connie comes down, says that she's found out what the meaning of agape is. It's unconditional love. It's the greatest kind of love. It's the kind of love that God shows us. And Whit says something along the lines of, so, research isn't as bad as you thought, maybe. And Connie says it was actually not too bad. And then she noticed that Whit had been doing a lot of research, too. And he had been doing research, and he thinks that Oscar has dyslexia, and that's why he has trouble remembering and learning, etc., memorizing stuff. And he'd been reading up on that and says that some people have dyslexia so bad that they see everything completely backwards. Mm-hmm. And he had called Oscar's parents, and they were going to a specialist to get him checked out. Now, I don't have a problem with Mr. Whitaker being the one to discover this, except how did Oscar make it to the 5th grade with no teacher and or his parents ever noticing that he was struggling with these things?
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
But because my initial thought was, can dyslexia develop as your eyes get weaker? So I looked it up, and it can't. You have dyslexia from birth. It's not something that can develop like near or farsightedness does.
I don't know. I think probably noticing learning disabilities like that have gotten better since the 90s. But you could also have kids struggling with reading up until 5th grade for a variety of reasons. I mean, you can tell he can read, so maybe it just was getting overlooked.
Maybe.
But I mean,
maybe he had just been like compensating it and reading slowly his entire life. I don't know.
I mean, how did Cousin Albert make it all the way through high school never being able to read, and nobody noticed?
Well, when he got to the point where he actually needed to be able to read and do stuff, he paid people to do it for him. And before that, he said they were switching schools so much that he was never in one place long enough to learn anything, which also means he was probably never in one place long enough for them to make him actually figure stuff out.
Yeah, it's true. My biggest concern here with Whit discovering Oscar's dyslexia, I get they need to know for the purpose of the lesson in the episode, but do you think he should just be telling Robyn and Connie, especially before he's been officially diagnosed? And without asking him or his parents?
Probably not, maybe. I mean, it's, okay, like, to be fair, Whit is not under any type of confidentiality. Like, it's not like he's a teacher or something who wouldn't be allowed to tell people this thing. Like, I get your point.
But if it wasn't Mr. Whitaker, we would consider this spreading a rumor, would we not? Because he's not even tested yet.
Mm. Well, he had already called his Oscar's parents and asked them about it, so...
Yeah. I don't know. I get, for the sake of the lesson, they need to know. But I was like, I don't know if you could really be just telling them.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, then Connie and Whit go back to talk to Robyn and Oscar because Connie wants to talk to Robyn about agape, and Whit wants to talk to Oscar about dyslexia.
Well, actually, they're gonna watch them
And
their model, but that too.
That is not why they went back there.
Yeah, it is.
It's literally not what Whit said before they left.
But that's the whole reason
They
they're
said
going
they
back
were
there,
gonna go
because he
talk to
said
them.
he told Robyn he was gonna come watch.
Well, I know he did, but that is not what he said before he went to go back there.
I suppose, but that's also why they were going back there.
Well, yeah, I know, but that has nothing to do with what I said.
Okay.
In fact, I was going to get to that part before you interrupted me with your misinformation.
Forgive me for spoiling this entire episode that the audience has theoretically already listened to.
But anyway, so they go back there also to see the model volcano. They knock, and Robyn tells them they can come in, and they're ready. So Robyn tells Oscar to throw the switch, and it works perfectly until Robyn tells Oscar to turn it off, and it doesn't turn off. Oscar says he's turned it all the way off, and it's still not turning off. And once it finally runs out of lava, some kind of slime or putty or something they'd used for lava, Whit says it must have been a short or something. Well, Robyn discovers that it was not a short, it was in fact that Oscar had turned it all the way on instead of all the way off. To which she kind of blows up at Oscar. No, not kind of. She blows up at Oscar, calls him dumb, and storms out. Whit says she was just worked up and she didn't actually mean it. However, Oscar unfortunately agrees with Donna, or not Donna, wrong Odyssey girl, Robyn, and that he is in fact dumb, and he leaves.
So sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally's like, we were gonna bring him good news.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I think the next day probably, although I kind of have a hard time believing Whit just let their volcano mess sit in the library
I mean,
an entire night.
it's clearly not the same day.
Yeah. I don't know. I would almost see him make Connie clean it up. But
Maybe they
I
clean
think
up what was on
maybe
the
for the
floor,
purpose of wanting...
and they're cleaning up like the pieces of the volcano or something.
Maybe. Anyway, so yeah, the next day, Robyn comes in to clean up, and she says she doesn't know where Oscar is. He was supposed to be there to help, especially since he's the one who caused the mess. And Whit's like, yeah, he might have been the one who caused the actual mess, but I don't think he's responsible for all of it. And Robyn's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I'm talking about the blow-up of Mount Robyn.
That's a funny line.
Yeah. And she says she's sorry about that, but that was the last straw. So she's, in other words, I'm sorry, but I'm not actually sorry.
I'm sorry I caused the scene, but I'm not sorry for the scene I caused.
Pretty much. And she says that had been the last straw, and it was like, well, that's not a very Christian attitude. And then Robyn's like, Christian? I think I've been Christian enough, because I let him stay my partner, I did all this stuff, helped him, did what, and Whit's like, after she finishes, she's like, you probably want me to leave now, don't you? And Whit's like, no, I just want you to read something for me. And so he gives her a piece of paper and asks her to try to read it. She says she can't read it, because it's all backwards.
At least she can acknowledge what's wrong with it.
Yeah. Which actually, I mean, it would take you a while, but you would be able to figure it out. But I guess Oscar can too. So
Yeah.
that's still, Whit can make his point.
Mm-hmm.
And the Oscar can't. She says, well, obviously you can't, and Oscar can't either. He says that's the way that Oscar sees everything because he has a condition called dyslexia. I just like to say, recently in one of my education classes, we had a presentation about learning disabilities, one of them being dyslexia, and we had to try a thing to like somewhat simulate that, which was essentially writing in a mirror when you couldn't see your hand. Like you were looking at a mirror at your hand that was supposed to be writing in between two lines, and everything felt like you were moving the wrong direction, no matter which direction you were going. And while I don't have dyslexia, so I don't actually know exactly what it's like, it was frustrating and very disorienting. And so if that even is somewhat along the lines of what that's like, it definitely helps you understand how difficult it would be to pick up on things and learn things, or even want to try to keep learning things because of how hard it was. And the person who was doing the presentation made a good point. A lot of people who have that, or lots of other types of learning disabilities, are actually really smart. They just don't like to try to keep learning because of how frustrating it is for them to do things.
Yeah.
But anyway, after Whit tells Robyn about this, Robyn's like, poor Oscar, and Whit's like, oh, now it's poor Oscar? Yesterday it was Oscar, you big dummy. And he's like, why does it make a difference? And Robyn's like, well, because I didn't know about he had dyslexia before. And Whit's like, well, that shouldn't make a difference. And then he asked her about what they'd been reading in Bible study about agape. And he tells her what that means. It means unconditional love. It means showing love to Oscar. And she asks if that's not is that not what she'd been doing by letting Oscar? He's like, well, it has to do with how you do things, not just what you do. Like, you could have let Oscar be your partner and still been a terrible person to him the entire time. That's not what this is talking about. It's showing love through your actions. And talks about, how, I think it's still in 1 Corinthians 13, it's like, if you do all these good things, or if you have faith to move mountain, I don't know if that's exactly what it says, but you don't have love, it's nothing.
Yep.
But anyway, then Oscar shows up, and then he sees Robyn there. He's like, oh, I was going to help clean up, but since you're here, I'm going to leave, and I'll come back when you're done. And Robyn's like, no, wait, Oscar, I know it doesn't mean much, but sorry. And I was wondering if we could maybe build another volcano since we still have another week. Oscar is very quickly going to agree to that.
I think it's good, too, that Robyn doesn't say anything about the dyslexia, because if she did, it would make it seem to him like she was only apologetic because she realized he had a problem. But
yeah, well, I think that also shows that Robyn understood what Mr. Whitaker was just talking about.
Yes, yeah. I just think it's a good moment for her.
Yeah. But then, so as they're cleaning up, Connie comes in, and she's like, Robyn, guess what? I figured out what agape means, so now I can tell you. And the whole time, Robyn's like, Connie, I already know. And then Connie's like, it means, and then Robyn says, unconditional love. And then Connie goes, unconditional love? You already know? She already knows.
Then we have them blow up about Connie.
Yeah, like I say, so the episode ends with Connie just being a wee bit frustrated because Robyn already knew and she did all the research for nothing.
Yeah, and with Connie, agape.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, that's the end of the episode. Chris, I don't know, she reminds us to love as Christ loved us, and that's the episode.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Good episode with a lesson about unconditional love and dyslexia awareness.
Yep.
I'll say this episode is my primary context for dyslexia. And I think
really
where
is.
I learned about agape. I'm realizing
Probably
that
that
this
too.
whole album taught me a lot about the fundamentals.
It's called the fundamentals
did
for
its job.
for a reason.
Yeah.
How many episodes do we have left of this album?
I think 2, but there
Okay.
are some album 5 episodes in there. So yeah, our next episode is Bad Company, which is also in this album. And then I was looking ahead, I think after that is the Imagination Station episodes, which is exciting. And then after that, I think, is the last, I think there's maybe 2 more album 2 episodes. And then, or album 4, I mean. So we're getting close.
We're getting close, which also means we're getting somewhat close to a new tier list.
Yes. And
Sometimes.
a new bonus episode. I think actually would have
Next
come out
week.
last week. Next week as we're recording, but last week as you hear it.
Oh, yeah. I forget that we're recording of...
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed
Next week
whatever
for us,
the
last week
episode
for you.
was. We don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Yes.
And I don't. Do you have any final thoughts, or
No,
good for a wrap up?
I think we covered it. Wrap it up.
All right. Thank you for watching and/or listening. Subscribe where you ever get the podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye.